Hi, how's it in the name of Christ? How you doing? It's your girl Cran Cake, Karabo. I hope you're good. I hope you're peachy. I hope you're stellar. And I hope you're in a neat little bunch. If you're not, welcome to the party, as that's just not the story of our lives. Okie dokie. Let me just put some caveats out there. Kindly look out for my captions. They aren't always accurate. They sometimes use a small g for God, so they're not very reverential. They are sometimes misspelled. Sometimes it's the wrong word altogether. Allow me to just put it out there that that's not what I'm about. I think I'm generally well written and spoken, so I don't go out of my way to make those kinds of errors. I just don't have an incentive right now to edit my long form content, because for what, for who? It's a lot of work that gets invested in that, and I just am not getting viewed. I've got binary code for views, ones and zeros, so we're not gonna do it. However, God willing, in the future, should I be awarded such a future as that, I will invest in editing them or hire somebody to do them. For now, just take in your stride what it is that CapCut gives you. Okay. I keep them there because I think they're cute, plus they're engaging and they're largely accurate, so okay. And then thirdly, I have got the segment where y'all pinch my cheeks. I'm only human after all. 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 Don't take a jab at me. Okay, so I just want to get this out the way so we can get into the message and move it, slice it and dice it out of the way real fast and furious. The intention is to blush my cheeks to show you that I'm a human being, that if you prick me, I bleed. I've got blood in my body. There's hemoglobin coursing through them. When I inhale and exhale, it makes my blood super red. So that means if you stab me, I die. So it would be really great if you didn't, but I don't know if my empathy segments work. I don't think they do, but it's okay. One day they will, because I'm gonna be coming from heaven. Ooh, booyah. Anyway, I believe the rapture is happening, but I have seasons of snapping out of that belief because it's just not happening fast enough, so we'll see what's going to happen this time around. Let's get straight into the gist of the message. Okay, so today's the 21st of May 2024. It is actually the 20th, really and truly, because I'm hopping over into the next day, so I'm chatting for the 20th, but it's already the 21st, seeing as it's the wee hours of the morning. Just in case you were wondering, Ibrahim Raisi has passed away, the Iranian president, otherwise known as the Butcher of Tehran, and that is significant in this global affair, which is why I believe we very potentially are going home. You know, because, I mean, the guy's dead. He was plotting and scheming against Israel. He was threatening quite a lot, flailing his fists and everything. So too is his foreign minister, two very influential men, alongside some other people that passed away in that helicopter crash. So, I mean, guys, we could be going home, or that could just be like God showing that I'm God, I live, and touch not my anointed, do my prophets no harm, do not touch my people, like I've chosen the apple of my eye. It is what it is. And so that Ibrahim Raisi passing away feat could really go both ways, guys. It could mean that God is delivering the church and Israel, and that there's still time on the earth, but it could also mean that the Lord is ending this concern and he is just putting chess pieces together in an environment, in a sitting such that they would lead to the Gog and Magog war, because who knows, I mean, the Butcher of Tehran was quite intense, he was extreme, but it must be comprehended that Iran, it was the first time in pretty much like, I think, like modern history that they did what they did to Israel with those drone attacks at the instruction of Raisi. And then he passes away some like days later. That thing that he did, I believe, cost him his life. Righto, but like whoever comes next could be a little bit more feverish, because, you know, they sometimes replace them with more feverish people, and if he's more feverish, we're speaking Gog and Magog, so we could be going home. But on the other side, it could mean that be feverish as much as you want against the body of Christ. Bottom line is you're going to get ransacked. Israel is not the body of Christ, but at some point they will be, because they're going to be brought back. We are engrafted into the branch. Ultimately, the Lord is going to go back and restore to himself his original peeps. So we don't know what that's going to give. But one thing that is certain is that I am under attack. I've got a drone barrage, and my particular Ibrahim Raisis in these streets are about to board their helicopters, and I just feel as if those stay your hands from doing such a thing as that. Cease and desist, don't do it. Just don't finish the job. Don't go on the aeroplane. Don't go on the helicopter, like the old one with bad parts, and then blame America for bad parts because they sanctioned you, given that you were a terrorist, the biggest state sponsor of it on earth. But like, you know, don't go. Like, I'm just saying, don't board the helicopter. But I've got people who are presently boarding that helicopter and it is gonna crash, and for a season people are gonna be speculating whether or not you died, and ultimately after 24 hours we're gonna confirm that that's what happened. Anyway, I don't know, look, the Lord does not delight in the death of him who dieth, so this is a sad affair. And that's the reason why I am imploring people to repent, that they might not end up like Raisi. I'm just saying. Anyway, cool guys. I'm afflicted. I'm very, very terribly afflicted. My life is bad. It's quite trashy. It would be great if it wasn't, but it is. And all this trash machine that I live in has cost me a reputational repute. If that even is like a total double-barrel word. It's cost me my reputation, however falsely. I've been reviled, and so I'm being looked at like strangely. So we're gonna have a discussion about these conglomerate of Raisis all over the show, out here thoroughly imaginative, that all this underestimation of my person is actually a bad thing. Okay, listen. It's written in God's word in Romans 8:28 that all things work out together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to his purposes. So there is nothing that can ever be done to us, through us, at us, about us, and entirely against us, or whatever. They can never just turn out badly. It always ends badly for everybody else and not us. Yeah. So granted that everything works out for our good, even all of this reviling of my person is working out for me. And we're gonna have a discussion about that. Ibrahim Raisi conglomerate, listen, okay? Don't board the airplane. Don't go on the helicopter with the bad parts and the old school, like, 2002 model heli thing in the bush. Just don't do it. Rather repent that you might not perish. Go and read Luke 13 over and over again. Scan it up and down. Consume it. Print it in a 3D printer that you might be able to see the words in live form, so that you can be stayed from doing such a thing as that. Don't die. Really, you don't have to do this. It doesn't have to be that intense or that deep. I keep saying I'm spoon-feeding a bunch of Raisis. They know what is right, but they don't want to do what is better. Just like the Romans 1 conglomerate. Not only do they know what they're doing is just gangster, but they continue to do it, and in so doing also inspire others to do the same, because they want to have gladness in their miserable company. One day your perishing is going to cause a whole bunch of people to go in the streets and light up some fireworks, because your name is Raisi. Just don't do it. Okay? Seize yourselves from being hostile against the people, that all of your sorcery might not win you death, but rather repentance, because now you're giving a testimony about how you were dastardly and now you're better. Do a better thing. I would implore you to just be snatched out from the flames of hell already, because at this point I feel very sad for you. I feel bad for you. Just like I feel bad for Raisi and co. It's sad. It broke my heart to hear the news. I am not jumping up and down like some Iranians blowing up fireworks. I'm sad, because the Lord does not delight in the death of him who dieth, and apparently, given that his name is the Butcher of Tehran, he's got like the blood of something like 100,000 Iranians on his hands. What in the world does that mean for you eternally? I don't know. The guy's not in a good place. The Lord does not delight in the death of him who dieth, you guys, so Raisi's death is not delightful. That's what I'm getting at. Neither is yours going to be delightful, even though really, frankly, according to many, good riddance. Witches, all up in my grill. You have cost me reputation. You have made me a disreputed, reviled rando. And so for those reasons, I'm just like, oh, this sucks, okay? You've made out of me a temporary Lauryn Hill. Allow me to explain to you why I'm only a temporary Lauryn Hill. Lauryn Hill got reviled for turning her head to what would be the tantamount of God. We were not really sure, and still to this day I can't really validate or vouch for her redemption. But she certainly was toggling with the things of God, and when you do that, in the entertainment industry they give you a whole bunch of grief. They just scratch you out, like a buzzer. And they dragged the name of Lauryn Hill through the mud and essentially reduced her to a no-brainer after reducing one awesome album. And then that was it for her. Okay, then she did the unplugged one, which was acoustic and just like not really truly an album, but you get my point, what have you. Awesome talent over there, type establishment thing. But you know where Lauryn Hill messed up? Do you know where Lauryn Hill messed up? If at all Lauryn Hill had kept her head above water, she would have been able to conquer that dastardly industry and been respected. Just like many people who broke away from the entertainment industry were reviled. However, today they're strong, they're regarded, they're respected within circles where it is that they ought to be respected. They will never be respected in Hollywood because they are at enmity with Hollywood, but they're respected by us. by the body of Christ and by the world at large that's still sober. There are places that embrace them. When you maintain a generalistic piety, when you walk in godliness, ultimately your reputation will be safe in the environments where it matters, okay? The world will still always spit on your toes because that is what God said would happen. The world hates disciples. All that jazz. They will revile us, all that jazz. And some people just very frankly will never ever take us in their stride, all that jazz. They will continue all the way up until we pass away to insist that we are damnable and condemnable. They will, just like they did with Jesus, essentially finish us off imagining that they're doing a service to God. There will always be that horde. But in your death, there will always be those that are at the cross mourning your death. There will be those that will be gathered in the conglomerated state to speak your praises, sing them, elevate them loftily. There will always be the body of Christ and everybody else that is sober that recognizes that this here was an unjust killing. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that's all that matters at this point. You can't win them all, you can't get them all. It's that basic. So do not fret in front or cry tears of heavy blood when the world is still reviling you, calling you cray-cray, when you're not. Because really and truly, the right people are the only ones that matter to recognize that you are not cray-cray. And I'm working tooth and nail to make that a whole thing. But Lauryn Hill lost to the body of Christ. Why? Because she was doing other strange things in the midst of walking away from Hollywood. She was dabbling, she was mixing her Christianity with Rastafarianism and all different kinds of stuff, and then she went on right ahead to marry a man that bore no fruit. A man that was evidenced later as time would progress as not the real deal. And he made her just look like some woman that's out here just popping babies but not truly loved the way that Christ loved the church. She was not covered by a man, you know, in that marriage circumstance that would essentially protect her reputation, protect her as a woman, that all the reviling world might be silenced, that they might be mum, that they might be made to just keep quiet, sit in a corner like a neat little child that's been rebuked by a teacher, and write, "I shall not do this ever again," 200 times on the blackboard. Yeah, the world does that. When you get your day in court despite them having spat on your shoes with hydrochloric acid saliva, so therefore grooving therein into your flesh and eating it alive. The world will do that to you, but if at all you do things on the straight and narrow, Christ will exalt you after having been humbled. And Lauryn Hill walked in an unequal yoking, or maybe it was a good yoking in the sense that she wasn't entirely innocent herself, because she wasn't discerning enough to recognize that her baby daddy just didn't make no sense, that her husband, lover, whatever, just did not make any sense, and she just became this woman popping a whole bunch of babies for a dude that she would ultimately divorce. That's the problem. That's the problem. That's where Lauryn Hill messed up. So me having been ripped out, or having come up and complained, lamented against an industry of human individuals that don't make sense, and by industry in this circumstance I'm using it metaphorically or proverbially, in the sense that I'm speaking about where does that I come from. At first I was speaking on the rooftops about how y'all basically suck. Yeah, you did me dirty and you were evil in so doing me dirty, and I was trying to cleanse my reputation, but you still buried me anyway. I am innocent entirely, and still to this day I'm yet to be married. And the reason I'm yet to be married is because everyone that's tried to come in with their slimy agenda has just bombarded. Everyone that's tried to come in with a strange, ominous agenda has basically hit a brick wall. It has not worked. Why? Because the Lord God Almighty saw it fit to blow them out the water. Granted that I was sutured to Him. I held on to Him, and so He protected me from being reviled by some deadbeat that would make me fat and aged in a marriage where it is that I'm just popping babies for Him without truly being loved the way that Christ loved the church, without truly being catered to, protected, covered, and without my virtue in Christ being maintained, without me continuing to grow in grace from strength to strength, that those who observe me from a distance, like Vanessa Williams, would make an observation that, my goodness, obviously God has her back. Essentially, what Lauryn Hill was stolen from was that table prepared in the presence of her enemies. If at all she had married right, if at all she had sobered herself unto Christ truly, she would not have married a man that would have reviled her reputation further and left her destitute, with the world looking at her on some, wagging their heads on some shame. You used to be so great. Christ is the one that gives you greatness, but you gotta hold on to Him. That was the era of Lauryn Hill. Her mistake was in not truly consecrating herself to God first and foremost, and secondly, unequal yoking or proper yoking, just not godly, sufficient, not that mixing. Borasta bole, you get my point, okay? Now that we've put that out there, let me just like highlight that, granted that I'm not a Lauryn Hill, all things, including the reviling of my person by beastly humans on the left and on the right, is going to work out for my good. They are going to work out for my good. For those who are called according to the purpose of the King of the universe, they will work out for my good. They will. I will be exalted. I am still single. I am still looking seemly. I am still looking somewhat recoverable, salvageable. I am still looking like I have something to give. I'm still looking threatening, essentially, to anyone at all that is waiting with bated breath to watch me be finished off. Yeah. I still look like something that could essentially get what it's always wanted. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at this point. That's why Raisi, tantamount conglomerate human beings, I'm out here imploring you to please step away from the helicopter. It was manufactured in 2002. It's too old. Long ago, you've been sanctioned because you keep on producing nukes against Israel. And so now you can't build helicopters properly. So don't go on that airplane, helicopter, that thing in the sky. Just don't. Get a train. Take a train, a bicycle, a vehicle. Travel in a bus for 3, 4, 5, 10 hours. Just however, don't get on a helicopter, an old one, when it's not serviced or maintained, and then turn around and blame it on America. No, don't do it. Just sit tight and wait for the bus. Take the long scenic route that you might live to tell the story, so that we are not going to be observing certain human beings on the left and on the right all over society celebrating your death, because after all, you were Dennis the Menace. You were a terrorist, you were disturbing, you were disgraceful, you were a genocidal miscreant, you were the butcher of Tehran. Do not be that thing. Do not die so dastardly. Listen, be like Saul on the road to Damascus, and just like do a better thing even though you were the chief of sinners. It's just better. It is in your best interest to do that. I am sick and tired of getting people to stay their hands from finishing themselves off, because at this point I feel like I'm spoon feeding. Don't finish yourselves off, Raisi, because in trying to finish me off, you're going to finish yourself off. This here is a video trying to demotivate you, Raisi, from getting on the helicopter. Nobody likes you as it stands. Frankly, you are a terror to your nation, but it doesn't have to end like this. It really doesn't. This is a message to my ex-boyfriend and anybody else at all that is attempting to do me dirty. Listen, I am not married to, what is it, Marley dude? Yeah, I'm not married to that guy. I'm still single. And the reason that's the case is because I have a way about dodging bullets, and these bullets that I've been dodging, really and truly, it's not of my own devices. I've been dodging them because God has made me dodge. Yeah, the Lord has been the one to make me dodge bullets. Reputational damage. Let me help you understand what under heaven it has spared me from all throughout my lizite, otherwise known as a life. Allow me to explain to you seriously and very, very deeply why, yet again, for yet another event in yet another season, I shall yet again dodge a bullet. Hey, Bato, can I just explain to you what under heaven has been the nature of my life? I keep saying that, like Jeremiah. I said that in the other video of the other day. I feel like I was called from like my mama womb to be something to the nations. That from the time I was like coddled by, you know, parents and stuff, I was just supposed to do this. Yeah. Because my life has been a series of hardships that have enabled me to later on look back and be like, oh, thank God you blew it. Thank God I dodged the bullet. Yeah, that's what's good. Okay. We're gonna stop with the giggling. All things work out together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. I've been called since I was a baby, because ever since I was a baby, I have just had a series of so very many misfortunes that helped me wake up later to see that, ooh, imagine if I was cool. That random would have been in my life. Yo, I am a survivor. I made it. I'm a gold star. I'm going harder. Guys, the Lord God Almighty is the one that restores and redeems. And I've been restored and redeemed from ending up in a most disturbing environment. Okay, I need to blow my nose. Alrighty. let's get straight into it now that I've blown my nose, and it's clear that I've blown my nose because it looks obviously clean. Listen guys, let's just get real and serious. First of all, alright, I have a song over here that I'm gonna sing, but it's only because the Lord brought it to the forefront to help me understand what you're dealing with here and why it is that you're just in dangerous territory, you're on dangerous turf, and if you don't do a better thing, it's just gonna get more dangerous, okay? But like, my life appears to be super duper unfair, like super duper califragilisticexpialidocious unfair, but the only reason why all those appearances are what it is that they are is because I've been severely protected pretty much all my life, even though it looks as if though I've just endured a series of mishaps or luck, falling apart, misfortunes, I don't know. Call it what you want. I was supposed to be successful, ooh, but then look at me living in all this like grandiose squalor. I dodged a bullet. And I'm gonna explain to you what. No, please, like, more like I've got the Iron Dome. I did not dodge a bullet. I dodged barrage. I dodged missiles ezininzi. I dodged drone attacks like Israel the other day. That's what I dodged. Like barrage. Barararara. Yeah, that's what I done dodged. Okay? Because I'm poor. And I'm still dodging bullets. I'm still ducking some bullets. Even this rando from America is a bullet that I dodged because of my squalor. Like, let's just get straight into the drawing board from the very, very bottom, okay? Just of the matter. Alright, where shall we commence? Okay? Where? At what particular vantage juncture point shall we dodge the bullet? Where shall we commence? Listen, you guys. Okay, so like, I don't even know where to start. Alright, there's... I am protected. I look forsaken, but is a Jochebed? Is a Jochebed in the Bible that went and buried a baby, and this baby turned out to be the king eventually. And if she did not hide this baby would have been killed with all the other brothers or something, like some story of that nature. God has been like a Jochebed, like he has hidden me all my life from some hard knock bullets, like bullets. Do you understand? They later on turned out to be just that, bullets. Okay, so when I was in primary school, ish man, you guys, you know, like I'm very tired. Like when I was in primary, there was this guy that I had a massive crush. He's essentially my first love. Okay, the first person that I ever had like ridiculous feelings for that were very confusing for a little girl. I was besotted with that guy. I had feelings for him that like I just didn't understand them because, you know, I was a kid and I didn't know why do I feel like this. Yeah, I'd had crushes before, but I'd never felt like this. And this guy, I did not know if this thing was mutual. Do you understand? All I know is that he used to like tease me quite a lot when we were in school, in not matric, primary school here, so that would be the last grade of primary school, grade 7. Yeah, in grade 7, he was in my class. I developed a crush on him before then. Okay, so I was new in Winchester Ridge Primary in grade 5. That would be standard 3. Grade 5, yeah, that's when I was new. In the middle of the year, I was new in that class, alright? And this boy was in my class in grade 5, alright? And when I was new, I was, whatever, I looked around and I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I'm new in this class. I then had this batch of girlfriends. I had come from a Catholic school. And in the Catholic school where I was at, kids were a lot more regulated. They were not as lascivious, frankly, like, you know, sultry little babies. They were not full of crushing on boys and whatnot. It was a religious school. And there was only one girl that was like, oh, I have a crush on Karabo, but it was just so cute. It was so girly and never did anything about it. It was just, oh, he's cute. Yeah, that's where I came from, in the Catholic school where I was at. And then I moved to a government school, and it's like, it was, yo guys, I don't know, like, it was like the Indian movie, Gangster's Paradise. Yeah, oh, you know, Michelle Pfeiffer. What's the name of the movie? I forgot it. Yeah, but the kids in that class, like, it was like that. It was so wild. It was so incredibly wild in comparison to what I was used to when I was in the religious school. Everybody was a loose cannon, and girls were kissing boys, and it was like French kissing. It wasn't just like a peck on the cheek. It's like, this is primary school. This is grade 5, standard 3. Like, what are you, 10, 11? Yeah, Batong. It was ridiculous. It was Gangster's Paradise. What's the name of that movie? I forgot. But you know from a minute after minute, hour after hour, what's going on in this kitchen? Coolio. Yeah, Gangster's Paradise. That movie. The kids were like that in the primary school where I went. Go Winchester. Y'all, please. You might think you were regulated, but I came from a religious school. When I went to Winchester Ridge, it was Gangster's Paradise. It was a ridiculous government school that was full of loose cannon children. And these kids that I was encircled by, that were as loose cannonic as they were doing funny things. So I got friends that were loose cannonish in the way that I wasn't. I had come from a Catholic school and I was in a bunch. And these girls were talking about, I have a crush on this guy. And then next thing, they're dating and they're holding hands in public view and they're kissing in corners. And oh goodness, guys, like it was so R-rated. What in the world was going on in that primary school? It was totally R-rated. It was ridiculous. One of the girls that was not, however, part of my crew was even gloating about how it is at age 12 she broke her virginity, but she wasn't one of my girls though. Anyway, whatever. She would later go on to go to my high school too. Having put that out there, I'm a little girl and I've got peer pressure, right? So I want to fit in and I don't want to be the random stupid prude coming from a Catholic school being prudish. Okay? So I tell myself that, okay, at a minimum I'm gonna get a crush. At a minimum I'm gonna get a crush, you know? I'm gonna find someone to have a crush on because everybody has a crush on someone in the school. And so I didn't really have a crush on this person. But I told myself that I'm gonna develop one. So there were these popular boys that we used to call nerds because we used to tease them, right? They were the popular crew of boys in, you know, that all the girls were just kind of looking at the time in my primary school, all the black girls. Anyway, whatever. And I decided that I was gonna choose one of the boys from there. And seeing as my girls had chosen a couple of guys from that crew, I decided to choose one that was not chosen by any of the girls, right? Some short little boy that was much too short for me because I'm a tall girl and I've been one for like all my life. Okay, yeah, that's what's good. Even in primary school, like my growth spurt started pretty early. Yeah, that's what's good. Yeah, so I decided that I'm gonna have a crush on this boy whose name was like a fish. All right, I didn't like him though. I didn't. I just made a decision that I'm gonna have a crush on someone because everybody has a crush on someone. So it's not like I really liked him or anything like that. So I determined that I was gonna like this guy, and this guy was not in my class. He was in another class and he was part of the crew of popular boys. So I chose him because he was there to be chosen. He was the only one left out of the radar of girls being on some, oh, I like this guy, oh. So I was like, I'm gonna go ooh over that guy, all right? Meaning that I decided to comprehensively ignore this other buffoon that was in my class. There was a buffoon in my class, right? That was just all over the show. And when I was new in the school, he was just like a little nerd. And there was a girl in the school that prior to me coming into the school, I had found out that apparently, allegedly, 2 years ago, so basically when everybody was in grade 1 now, grade 5, so that would be grade 3, so standard 1, grade 3. So in grade 3, this boy had a crush on some girl that was not in my class at the time. She ended up being a friend later on, towards like the end of primary school. Yeah, he had a crush on her, and this boy was really cute. Like, he was overtly, like outwardly, he was like just a really cute kid. He was beautiful, he was handsome. I don't know if it's right to call a kid handsome, but I mean, I was a kid too. Goodness, I get it feels so pedophilic, but I was a kid too, so I get to call him handsome. All right, so here it is that there's this handsome little boy all up in my class. I noticed that he was handsome the moment I was new. I noticed it. He was cute, and he was nice. He wasn't mean or anything of that nature when I was new. And Napapa, he was all over the show. He was forward, okay? Kind of like Papi, man. What in the world is to Papa in English? Like, he was forward. He was all over the show, like a hothead type thing. This little Papi, what I spotted him as cute, but because of the story that was told about him in grade 3. That would be standard 1. Yeah. It became, I said I wrote him off because remember, peer pressure, the only thing that made me want to crush on anybody was peer pressure. Okay, so I didn't even have a crush on the other guy whose name was like a fish. I didn't even like him. I just told myself that I like him because I gotta have someone to like. Goodness, everybody has somebody they like. So I chose him because the cute dude that when I was new, I thought he was cute. I thought he was good looking, right? Then I got told a story by one of my friends that sometime in grade 3, all right, I'm sorry, I'm busy uploading shorts here in the back end. If I'm looking back there, don't mind my distractedness, all right. Some time ago in grade 3, this other girl was pretty. She was like this yellow bone that was just gorgeous. Okay, he had a crush on her. He liked her. Okay, and he tried to pretty much holla at her in grade 3, like on some "will you be my Valentine" or whatever. And this girl that he had a crush on, alright, that he tried to pursue in that little primary school age, alright, when she was busy, when he was, something happened, like he was busy playing around, you know, like when a boy has a crush on a girl, how sometimes he just plays with her, hey you this, hey you that. He was doing that. And this girl got so irritated and he was pursuing her, and she was like, no, please, no, ew, no. She was like, no, right? And then one day he was busy playing around with her on all over her grill, like a little teensy, like a fly. He was irritating her, and then she pushed him on some "leave me alone," right? And then he fell into a desk, like, yeah, even the desk like broke and everything. Like he fell on a desk and into it. I don't think it broke because he had all that much force and impetus, and then she was super violent like Inga, but I think it was already like on his way out that desk, but he pretty much like got slam dunked into a desk. and it was in front of everybody, and you know how in primary school it's just so embarrassing for stuff like that to happen, so it essentially just kind of decimated his reputation that year. He was laughed at. Everybody was looking at him on some so everybody was laughing at him. I'm laughing because it was funny at the time. Okay guys, come on, like I was a kid. Yeah, so he got like super embarrassed in grade 3. Oh come on, like what in the world is going on? I don't want to be distracted right now. I'm busy telling a story. 1 second. Yeah, they laughed at him. Okay, like wah, 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 wah. And it was just such a big thing that like literally the whole grade across all the classes knew that, let's say his name was Jabavu, okay? Everybody knew that Jabavu, good girl, get another name. Jabavu, I'm not going to be able to remember that. Let's say his name was Homozo, okay? Homozo was pushed on in a desk, and it just became like a legend, an urban legend even, the way it had like horror, like, you know, creepy movie edges to it. It just became this urban legend that was being spread from grade 3 to 4, and now we're in grade 5, and it's still doing the rounds in the rumor mill. He got disreputed by that one event where a pretty girl that he was on some "be my girl, be my lady," and remember, he's a cute dude, right? This girl rejected him and pushed him. He dunked into a desk, and it was very embarrassing, and everybody was laughing at him, and the whole grade knew. The whole school was like, yeah. So it essentially kind of it plunged his credit. It decimated his statistics, despite him being a really cute dude. His stats were like messed up, like no mess, because of that one. He was dissed by a girl, and it messed with his primary school reputation. Like, can you be more shallow, primary schoolians? Anyway, whatever. So I get to grade 5, new in the school, right? From Mayfair Convent, I moved to Winchester Ridge Primary. He's in my class. I immediately noticed that he's cute, but I'm not out here trying to crush on anybody, alright? I had never had a crush in my life before. Well, no, come on, don't like Karabo. I had little girl crushes when, like, all throughout in my youth, in my crashes and whatnot, on silly boys, but I'd never had a serious, like, as in, you're thinking about a person like all the time, like, yeah, that level, like never have I ever had anything of that nature. So I get there all like super duper pure, coming from a Catholic school where none of that stuff gonna fly, okay? The girls were regulated, and then I'm in gangster's paradise primary school. It's loose cannons, guys. In comparison to Mayfair Convent, Winchester Ridge was gangster's paradise. Like, I just let me put that out there. It was gangster. It was wayward in an observable way. That's why it's worth it to send children to Christian schools or religious. It's worth it. I'm just saying. I saw the difference. Anyway, whatever. So here it is, I'm in gangster's paradise. I'm being peer pressurized like no man's business. So I earmark a crush, and the only reason I chose some other dude to crush on that I didn't even like was because this Okie, I thought he was cute as soon as I started in the class, alright? But then my girl told me, yeah, in grade 3, this is what happened. And then I was like, yo, no, I'm not about to, like, I didn't even have hair, but like, if I had hair, I'd be like, ah, my heart, please me, I'm not about to go and like a dude that don't nobody think is worth liking. Yeah, I want a guy that is popular. I want a guy that is well respected, well regarded, okay, by everybody. So I immediately just got over him. Like I thought he was cute. I let it go because my girl was like, hey, Lorna, this happened to him in grade 3. Forgot about him. He was in the class the whole year. I started in the middle of the year. So the year ended, and then in grade. Yeah, okay, but however, listen, as the time progressed, alright, as that particular year progressed, there was a time when I was sent out of the class. Get out, Karabo, you are naughty. So I'm sitting outside after being punished, and in my being punished nature, I then sit down outside just waiting for the class to end because like I'm being punished and stuff. And then I look to the right and I notice that, oh, there's a dude like in the class next door that's also being punished, and he's like staring at me. And initially I was what are you just doing my own thing, like right? And then next thing this dude is like staring, and I'm like, yo, I noticed that he was staring at me like the way that you would stare at a girl that you like. And I came to discover that he was, what do you call this, one of the guys in the crew of popular boys, right? They were the only ones that were an option. Oh, and this Okie was partially a crew. He was partially friends with the popular guys, but he was also partially friends with some other kids. He was like between two crews, so he was not officially part of the popular boy crew. And this is another thing that made me be like, hey, I want to crush on somebody who is part of the popular boy crew. We used to call them nerds, okay? Because that's just how primary school kids are. All right, anyway, whatever. Cool beans and bananas. So this dude is staring at me, and he's one of the nerds, right? And then I'm like, okay, whoa, he likes me. It's reciprocated. So in other words, like the other dude that I crushed on, the little one, the short one, whose name was like a fish, it wasn't reciprocated. Like it's not like I started staring at him or I started liking him. I made a decision to crush on him, and then it just reciprocated. It was not two-way. He did not like me. He was there far away, and I didn't even notice that when I was new in the school. He just couldn't care less. Okay, so when then I noticed that there was a nerd that was also kicked out of class for being naughty, and he was staring at me. His class was next door to ours, and back then you did not change classes. You did not move from like this class to that class. Like the whole day you were in one class because the teacher was just like a jack of all trades. It was only in the next grade is it 4? Yeah, it was only in grade 6, sorry, standard 4, grade 6, that we started to like maybe like go to a different class for maths or a different class for English or whatever. But in grade 5 we were in one class all day. Okay, cool. So this dude was in the next door class, right? Yeah, he was in the next door class, and he had been kicked out, and he was staring at me, and I was like, something in my mind was like, hey, that's one of the nerds. He's staring at me because he thinks I'm pretty duh. So I'm gonna change my crush. I decided I'm gonna change my crush. Okay, because I wanted a crush that with whom I reciprocated feelings, for crying out loud. Like I didn't even have feelings for the other guy, right? But that dude who was staring at me, I decided that I'm gonna crush on him, and it actually caught, right? It caught on me. I actually ended up liking him. I did have a crush on him. Like I actually liked him, you know. So I was out here low-key, deep down in my heart, kind of spazzing over this dude in the other class, all right? And I would always just catch him just looking at me, staring at me, looking at me and whatnot. And I was like, oh, we are reciprocating crushes. Never in my life did I ever intend to be with any of these guys. I just was happy to say I have a crush on someone because that was the peer pressure. I just wanted to have someone to have a crush on because all my girls had someone that they had a crush on. So I wasn't trying to date. I knew in my heart that I was not going to date until I was in high school. I made a decision very early that I was going to start. My first boyfriend, I was going to get him when I was 16. I made a decision that I'm going to start dating at 16. So there's no way that I was going to date those people. But I just wanted to have a crush and be like, I have a crush on Zonke. That's all I wanted to do. so we can all gossip about zonke. Okay, so I leave Khomotso in grade 3. Not grade 3, standard. It was when we were transitioning over to the grading system. Back then it was like standard 1, standard 2, standard 3. So standard 1, standard 3, sorry, that was standard 3, that would be grade 5. So in grade 5, I started out crushing very briefly for like maybe a month on some dude that I let go because some other dude, I noticed that this could be a two-way. It's reciprocated, so the two of us could low-key, yeah, type thing. And the whole time, this dude is just whatever, you know, like don't nobody care. The year ends and we then get reshuffled, and this Oki, the cute dude that got pushed into a desk by the cute girl, goes to another class. He goes to he goes to another class. And then I get put in another class too from him. And the class that I am in now, my crush from the one that I liked, Zonke, yeah, the crush that I got in Senate 3, guys, goodness, for Senate, yeah, the crush that I got in grade 5, that was actually true. I like, he ended up in my class. He was in my class, all right? And this crush that was in my class in standard 4, that would be grade 6. Goodness, this stuff, it kills me all the time to have to do this transference, because it was only from grade 8 did the whole system finally get entrenched in South Africa. Anyway, whatever. Cool beans and bananas, he's in my class now, and guys, he just put my life through so much hell that whole year. Like that grade 4 class, that grade 6 class, standard 4, grade 6, yeah, goodness gracious, like, he was so mean. He was just so mean. I had a crush on him. We were in the same class. I was scared of him. I was nervous all the time around him. I was all like sweaty palmed around him and whatnot, because I actually had a crush on him and what have you. But he made my year a living nightmare. He was full of mockery. There was this one test, like this one quiz, sorry, it wasn't a quiz, like a questionnaire that the teacher was asking kids in the class, you know, what's your mother's name? What's your father's name? What is your date of birth? What is your where do you stay? What's your address and whatnot? And we would answer one by one. She was asking us this, like she was just getting information down, right? And we had to respond audibly to her. And when it was my turn to answer these questions, he was laughing. He was laughing at everything I was saying. Like, what is your mother's name? I would then say my mom's name, and he would laugh at my mom's name. What's your dad's name? I would tell it, and then my dad, what's your dad's middle name? I would tell it, and then he would laugh. It made me feel like he hated me. Like I was so hurt by him making such a joke out of me. And the whole year he was doing that. Well, it would later come to be a reality that I would learn that that's how boys are when they're young, how it is that they treat girls they like. It's funny because when they get older, it doesn't change all that much sometimes. But anyway, whatever. But young boys tend to tease the girls that they like. But I mean, goodness, I've never been good at sarcasm, and I've also never been good at reverse psychology. I've never been able to read into a cue. Do you understand what I'm saying? I've never been able to read into a situation that, oh, this must mean he likes me. Like when a person is acting strange, when he's all passive aggressive, like so for me, it was like, this guy hates my guts. So I made a decision. I determined in my mind that I'm gonna stop liking him because he's mean and he doesn't like me, you know. And I made a decision that he's mean and he doesn't like me. But I realized that I'm not gonna be able to just get rid of him in my heart so easily. I need to replace him. I need to replace him with someone else. And I therefore started scanning the crew of boys. I realized that the other one, whose name was like a fish, didn't make sense because I didn't like him. He didn't like me back. The other one was taken by my friend, so I needed to find somebody else, and I just couldn't find anybody. And then I realized that I've always liked the other guy, the one that got pushed into a desk by the girl. Initially, from the moment I rocked up in the class, I thought he was so cute. But then I was turned off because I don't want an unpopular guy that gets bullied by a girl, right? But then when the other one sort of was just laughing at me whenever I would raise, whenever I was around, he was just mean, okay, spirited towards me. I then made a decision that, he wasn't in my class. He wasn't in my class. This dude was not in my class. The cute dude. He was not in my class. He was in another class. But then I needed to find a replacement, like I said. So I was like, I'll go like him. I just chose him. One day I saw him around walking and I was like, I like him. And yeah, no, that never stopped. Like, I replaced that other dude with him somewhere in like the perhaps like 4th month of the year, seeing as this dude that I'm now in the same class with is just such a jerk towards me. I then was like, I'm gonna find somebody else, okay, that's not so mean to me. So I found someone else. I'm not dating these people. I just want someone to have a crush on, because it's a thing in the school. Okay, it's a thing. So I decide that I'm gonna like, what name did I give him? Homotso, right? I make a decision that I'm gonna like Homotso, and it is what it is. Like, Homotso then becomes my crush. And like, guys, the feelings that I got for that guy, yes, like it was just ridiculous. Like, it was nothing I had ever in my life experienced before. I was thoroughly like, that's why I like he was okay. So I've got 2 first loves, the one that I was with and the one that I wasn't with. So the only reason why I called my first love is because I was with him. But the first guy that I ever really truly did love I was never with him. Like, it was this guy. It was this dude. Like, yo, guys, like, my feelings were turbulent. Like, I was enamored with him. I was in love with that guy. I liked him so much. And I used to think about him at home every day. Like, all day, like, Papa, that's just, I had really strong feelings for this dude. And he was in a different class. And he wasn't mean, and he definitely did not give me the vibes of this other dude. So I kicked this other dude to the curb through liking this other guy. And the feelings I had for him were excruciating. They were just heavy, right? Grade 6, yes, got it right this time. Grade 6, then 4 ends. And we go to the last grade of primary school, which is grade 7. And lo and behold, in grade 7, he's in my class, my grade 7 homeroom class. He is in it. Okay, so the guy that I super duper califragilisticexpialidocious like a lot is in my last class, is in the final year of primary school, that class, and he is in my grade, yeah, whatever. The other dude is in another class, not matric, but grade 7, the last grade of primary school. The other one that was mocking me, teasing me, jeering and all that jazz, he goes to another class, and then I get put in this class with this dude. And that crush lingered pretty much the whole year. I liked him the whole year. He was, I can't really say that he was mean. He wasn't mean. He was attention seeking, like very, very attention seeking where I'm concerned. He used to always just be like, so why are you doing things like this? And sometimes the things that he would ask me were like kind of insulting. Like, I remember one time we did this photo, taking photos for the year, for the class, the yearbook, whatever type thing. My photos come back, everybody's photos come back, and then he's like, can I see your photo? And I'm like, yeah, sure. I give him my photo, and he's like, why is it that in this photo you're so pretty? He's like, why is it that in this photo you're so pretty, but you're not so pretty in person? I looked at him on some I don't know. My heart was so broken. I was like, this guy just said that I'm pretty in my photo, but I'm not pretty in person. He said that my photos came out pretty, but I'm not as pretty. And my heart was broken, but I didn't respond mean. I was like, I don't know. He used to do stuff like that. He would say stuff to me that would be very below the belt and kind of hurtful, but in a very sweet way. Like, he wasn't mean like the other dude that would just like laugh in my face. And he was obviously attention seeking, and whenever the teacher would give us an opportunity, an allowance to sit wherever we wanted to sit, he would always choose the desk where I was at. So and I struggled to look at him in the face, like in the eye. I was always like, because it was like I liked him so much and what have you. And that's just how it was. So we were together in grade 7, like throughout the year, just like in each other's grill, in each other's presence. I had huge feelings for this guy, like very strong feelings for him, and I was not sure if he liked me back, right? Type establishment thing, fine. So that's how primary school ended. Everything, we got to the end, nothing happened, nobody ever spoke anything. This dude was friends with a girl that would become my friend in high school. So when he was in grade 6, that would be the grade prior, right? When he was in grade 6, he was in the same classroom with a girl that would in high school be one of my closest friends, and she was a tomboy, this chick, right? And so she used to get along with the boys. She had a good relationship with guys that all the girls were like, oh, they nerds. Like when the girls were like, ah, this chick was like, hey, what's up, yo, what's good? Yeah, she was like that. She was good with the boys, and she was good with him, right? Because they were in the same class, they were friends, and they kept in touch. They were, after high school ended, not high school, primary. Oh my goodness. 1 second. Sorry, my nose was bleeding. Like, I had no clue what's going on over there. But like, yeah, I had to deal with the situation. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, this chick was girls. She was good people with this dude on some friendly level. Like this chick, throughout high school, we were even confused as friends. If she was straight, you know, whether or not she was in the closet and like low-key gay. Yeah, she just had a whole boyish thing about her. Yeah, but later on, I don't know, still to this day, like, I don't know, like, still to this day, I don't know if that chick is batting for the other team or what, whether she's come out of the closet or whether she's into dudes, but she used to claim she was into dudes, you know, type thing, but she certainly did have a way with guys. She always had a rapport with guys in a way that the rest of us girls didn't, because, you know, we were like spazzing over them or whatever, while she was like, yo, what's up, dude, with them. Anyway, whatever. So yeah, let's just bank that. End of primary school, go our separate ways. All right, go our separate ways. He goes to another high school and I go to Sir John Adamson High School. All right, I don't even know what high school he went to, but my girl in grade 8, we were put in the same class. She went, this chick that, she wasn't in my, this chick had actually never ever been in any of my classes, not in grade 8, not 8, man, and not in standard 3, 4, or 5, so that would be grade 5, 6, or 7. She was never in my classes. I just always saw her around the primary school, but we were never friends in primary school. But in grade 8, she was in my class. She was allocated to my class, and I recognized her from primary school, so we became friends, right? And in grade 8, somewhere along the way in grade 8, this chick comes to me and she's like, Karabo, who's this homo? I said his what? Homozo. What name did I give him? Homozo, right? I was like, Homozo. This chick is like, Homozo likes you so much. Like, he's got such big feelings for you. And I was like, oh, what? I was like, what? Like, I did not confess to my friend that I had feelings for Homozo. But essentially, this is what happens, right? Happened. Homozo and my friend stay in touch. Okay? Because she was always good people with the boys. They called each other every so often on the landline, because back then everybody had a landline, no cell phones. And then this the Homozo was like, so who you know, from primary school is in your high school? Like, who among the people that we went to primary school with is in your high school? And then my girl is like, this girl and this girl and this guy and this guy and this guy and Karabo and this girl and this guy and this guy and he's like, what? Karabo's in your high school? And my friend is like, yeah, she's actually one of my girls, like, she's in my class type thing. And then he's like, yo, I've always liked her. Like, I've always liked... So basically, this dude only developed bravado when he was in grade 8. Now that everybody's been separated and gone their own separate ways, he now is, like, brave enough to basically ask, or, you know, the questions that he needs to ask. He did not say anything. So he tells my girl that I've always liked her. Like, I always thought she was so pretty. I'm like, yo, you said that I was pretty in a photo only, dude. Ushilowena. I remember. 1 second. I was looking for a nail file. This here was snagging on my hair. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, okay. So this dude is like, I've always thought Karabo was so pretty. Like, whoa, she's in your class. Give me her number. What's going on? What a fish face. And then my girl comes back to school and she's like, Karabo, do you know that Homozo, right? That's the name that I used. Do you know that Homozo likes you? I was like, I didn't know. Yeah, I did not tell my friend that it was mutual, because I did not want her to know. I didn't want everybody to know. I was like, and besides, one of my friends also had a crush on him in primary, and she was teased for liking him. Okay, so one of my she would eventually become my best friend later on in life. Okay, this chick in primary school in Manchester liked Homozo, and I liked Homozo, but I did not confess that I liked Homozo. I did not tell anybody. All right, my friend decides that she's gonna tell the world that she likes Homozo, and Homozo disses her, like he teased her. He was like, no way, I don't like her, I would never. And so when that happened, I was like, yo, I mean, I'm not about to be like my girl. Like, let her go and spaz over a dude that's out there gonna be teasing her in front of everybody and her be embarrassed for liking a guy. So given that one of my girls liked him in primary school and was rejected by him, when then my girl comes and tells me that Khomozo likes me, this chick, I remembered that she liked Khomozo, right? And because of the fact that she was my girl, I was like, oh, I didn't know. And it was awkward because she told me that Khomozo liked me in front of us all. It was like the crew of girls. We were hanging out. And so she was just standing there during break on some, looking down while my girl's telling me that the guy that she liked that rejected her actually likes me and has liked me this whole time. Anyway, whatever. So I did not confess to it. I did not tell my friend that it's mutual. But yo, guys, when I went home, I was so happy. In grade 8, I was so happy. I don't even know why I was happy, because it's not like it was confirmation that we were going to be together. I was just glad that it was reciprocated, because remember, I'd never felt like that before about anybody. And the strange thing is that I continued to think about him even after primary school ended, right? Yeah, I'd never felt that way before. I'd never had such strong feelings for a guy before. And here it is that my friend is telling me that it's mutual. And she kept raising it a couple of, like over the weeks, and I would be like, okay, he likes me, and I would act like it's nothing much. Why? Because there was nothing that I was going to do about it. Remember, I had made a decision that I was not going to date until I was 16. This is grade 8, we're 14. I'm not going to be like, okay, give him my number, what's going to happen? What, are we just gonna like meet and go to Southgate and have ice cream and make out? I was not ready to kiss. I was not ready to do any of that stuff, and I certainly was not ready to be tempted to have sex, you know. So I was just like, what's the point? I'm not gonna date for another 2 years. So wrong time. So for me, it was like I was like, I'm glad he likes me, but that's it. So eventually he let it go, because according to my girl, I guess when they were calling each other, she was like, I told her that you like her, but she's just like, yeah. She's responding very neutrally. She doesn't say anything much. So he let it go. All right. And that was pretty much the last I would hear from this guy for high school, like at all, period. I don't know if he stayed in touch with my friend, yeah, or whatnot, but I didn't hear from him again. But I continued to like this guy. I still had very strong feelings for him, all of grade 8, all of grade 9. And the only thing that would make me stop thinking about him would be getting my first boyfriend. Like the dude that was my first love that I was actually with replaced him. He moved him out my heart. I actually fell for somebody else, right? And and I was actually with him. Like, yeah, the guy that would eventually go on right ahead to be my first and what have you. Pretty much everything. Yeah, that Okie took him out the waters, right? Fast forward, matric, over matric but like first year varsity. The guy goes to Wits now. It's freshman year. It's orientation week. It's the first week at varsity for first year students, and this dude rocks up one day. We're like by the Matrix, like somewhere between Great Hall and the Matrix, and I'm with my girl who went to primary. Remember the girl that had a crush on him in primary? Yeah, she was now with me in varsity, type establishment thing, and we're chilling there and just talking with a bunch of other girls, and then this like tall, handsome dude rocks up, and he's staring at me and he's smiling, and I smile back, because who does not smile back at a cute dude? Like who who does not smile back at a cute dude? So I smile back on some, here's this cute dude approaching and he's smiling at me, but he's smiling in a way almost as though he's like about to have a conversation on some, hi guys, like he's always been like that though, like very fresh, very sweet, very kind, anyway, whatever. And he's like all smiles, and I don't recognize him like at all. I do not recognize him at all. Last time I saw him in primary school, he had this little German cut that was very curly. Now he was cleanly shaven, most largely, like he just had just a small little brush cut. I didn't recognize him anyway. Plus in primary school he was shorter than me. Remember, I got my growth spurt first. I shot up, I was tall, type thing. And you know how boys get their growth spurt later, type thing. So he was short in primary, shorter than me. He grew and everything when he was in high school. I didn't see him do any of that because we went to different high schools and what have you. And here it is that now this tall dude, all right, towering even above me type establishment thing, is rocking up and he's smiling at me. And I'm like, I'm smiling back because he's cute. And then he's like, you know, it's on some, hey. And I'm like, hi. You know, I could tell that he was on some, recognize you, what's up? I did not recognize him until my girl was like, Homozo. And I was like, oh my goodness. It immediately dawned on me that that's the Homozo from Permi. And I was like, oh my goodness, and like hugs and everything on some, oh, so you're at Wits now. What are you studying? I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. What a fish paste. And yeah, as soon as I say that, right, as soon as we basically, you know, like, yeah, reconnect and whatnot, this chick, my friend, then is like, look, she looks at me. She's like, yo, Batong, it was so savage. My friend is like, I've always liked him. I was like proper. I'm out here looking at this dude on some, it's a reconciliation. I remember that in grade 8, I was so happy that he liked me. Here it is that he's looking at me. He is excited to see me. He hugs me first. He is like, out here on some, Karabo, how are you? And then my friend is like, I've always liked him. Like proper, like in front of me. And I was like, well, this guy's still here. But he didn't hear her. It's like she said it underneath her breath. So basically to tell me, get off my man. I was like, whoa. Okay, I've just been told to get off her man. This is my best friend. I am not gonna mess with anything. She tells me to get off her man, and it put water on me. I was single, like first year varsity. I was not with anybody. Yeah, so this chick just flat out told me, don't touch that. And she remembers in high school that one of my girls told all of us awkwardly in a group as we were chatting that Khomotsa likes you, Karabo. And then she was standing there looking all, you know, sad. And now because she felt like she had grown into her body and is now beautiful, this guy's gonna like her. So then she basically pounces on me, like low-key growling on some, leave him, he's mine. And I leave him. I left him. I liked it. The ideas were going in my mind when I recognized who he was. They were like, oh goodness, no. I thought that, whoa, this is obviously God done. This is providential. This guy, like, he was the first guy I ever loved. Now he's in varsity and he's looking at me like that. This is my man. And then my friend is like, no, he's mine. I was like, okay, take him. Tate. I was like, okay, you can have. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, when she was like, I like him. I used to. As soon as he left, when he went, like, you know, he continued going to wherever it is that he was going. I was like, yeah, no, I do remember that you liked him. I do. I did not highlight, however, that he rejected her in primary school. I was just like, yeah, I do remember that you liked him, and I let him go. I let him go for the sake of my friend, because I thought that my friend was going to pursue something with him. I thought that she was going. I think if he had pursued my friend, she would have dated him. He never did. Do you understand what I'm saying? But I just like what was the case in primary school, not primary, but in high school, when I was told, I acted very neutrally around him. The way that, like, you know how my girl would tell me, he likes you, until eventually he let it go, because I was very neutral in my reaction to his he likes you. I was very neutral with him in varsity, very neutral on certain events, because of my friend, because of this chick, right? I knew that she had basically just told me, hands off, girl code. I respected it. One time I went to some party in, is it Norwood? Yeah, and he was there queuing now, waiting outside to go in, and as I was headed, we were headed towards the end of the queue. We were headed towards the end to go to the back of the queue, and then I saw him. He was like, Karabo, you know. I was like, hey, what's up? And at the time he was still at Wits. He eventually would leave Wits, drop out. Don't know what he ended up doing, right? I say to him, I see him, and at that particular party in Norwood, he's with somebody, he's with some chick, okay? And I'm like, hi, you know, very friendly, kind, cordial to this girl. But the way that he looked at me, he just like lingered on me on some, good to see you, I guess I'll see you around again at school, you know? Yeah, I'll see you at school. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'll see you at school. Nice to meet you. Bye. Speaking now to the chickie, but he was just lingering on me, and I was like thinking in my head, does this guy like me? Does he still like me? Like, why did he make things so awkward between him and the woman that he was with that day, by doing that with me, by looking at me that way, by lingering on me so heavily. Anyway, whatever, let him go. I keep bumping into him, right, at parties, Melville, whatnot. And one time at this one other random party, I was there by myself. Not by myself, but in other words, I was not with anybody, and neither was he with anybody, but we bumped into each other at that joint. I was with friends, and so was he with friends. And so we then I then like basically see him at the bar. Now I go to the bar to go and buy, like, I don't know, a Savannah or whatever. And then he joins me and he's like, Karabo. And I'm like, yo, dude, what's up? Hey, like, just good people, like, as usual. And then he asks me, when is your birthday? And I tell him 8th August, you know? And then he tells me that his birthday is, I think September or something, like the next month, or November, either September or November, one of the two. And I'm like to him, I'm older than you, you know, in this like music poof poof bar set up club environment. And then he's like, it doesn't matter, age is nothing but a number. And I'm like, why would you say that? You know, why would you say that? And I was like, ha 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 ha. And it was all very, very super duper awkward. That is like the most that dude ever did to try and pursue me, asking me what my birthday is and telling me once I tell him that I'm older than him by a month or two, that that age ain't jack but a number. Okay, that was it. And then he would go on right ahead to drop out of varsity, so I stopped seeing him around campus, type establishment thing, and that would be the end of me bumping into him everywhere. So basically, I spent my life believing, up until the point where, like, let me just say, up until some point, I spent my life thinking that the universe was trying to bring us together, but I was the one that was recalcitrant. I was the one that was stubborn, or I did not open my heart up enough, or he did not pursue on time or whatnot. But I spent time just thinking that he wasted time, and I probably wasted reciprocity. Like, I did not show him that I felt a particular way. And then the next time that I would see this dude, years down the line, would be so unfortunate. The next time I would see him would be when I was dating his friend. My ex-boyfriend was his boy. Yeah, yeah. My ex, like, I wasn't introduced to him by my ex, but one day when my ex and I were hanging out, he was like, yeah, this is my boy. I was like, I know him from Permi. Hey, dude, what's up? And now I was like the girlfriend of his boy. So it was completely gone. Like, there was no way now that we were ever going to be together because I was dating his boy, right? Yeah. And that's pretty much how that whole thing got blown out of the water. However, there was a time during the whole season of me being with my ex-boyfriend when we were all friends, we were good people, he was fresh, nice, and everything. He rocked it, he just continued to grow into such a handsome man. Anyway, whatever. Went to was it Benmore, some beautiful restaurant in Benmore with a bunch of my girls, and was sitting at a table there, and then this dude like rocks up, covers my eyes from the back, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, hey, what's up, how you doing? And stand up, hug him and whatnot. He's like, hi guys, how are you? And then I'm like, guys, this is Khomozo, he's my boyfriend's friend. I'm no longer introducing him as a dude that I've known since primary school. I'm just now introducing him as my boyfriend's friend. Anyway, this is Khomozo, my boyfriend's friend. Khomozo, this is that. And Khomozo's like, nice to meet you ladies. And then he goes there and sits here with his boys. Wait, is it they're gonna go and eat dinner? And after he goes, after he goes, something like 4 of my friends are like, Karabo, who's your friend? I was like, my girls are like, who's your friend? Who is your friend? Khomozo, introduce girl. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. And at that stage I was like, I don't know if he's single. I got so jealous. I was so jealous. I was like, I was what's the word that I'm looking for? I was defensive. I was passive aggressive. I was blocky. I was preventy. I was like, you think he's cute? Like, that was the first time it dawned on me when I was with my ex that I'm jealous for him, because my girls, 3 or 4 of them were like, who's your friend? And I was like, and I type setup thing. I realized that I didn't want any of my friends to be with him, right? That night I went home on some, why did I feel that way about Khomotso? Why was I so jealous when my girls were like, who's your friend? I realized that I had neutralized in my heart and in my mind, first and foremost, that I'd always liked him, and secondly, that he was great, or whatever it is that I wanted to call him, okay? Because I had leveled him, I had brought him low in my heart because I was with somebody else. And yeah, anyway, whatever. He never ended up with any of my girls or whatever. But fast forward many years down the line, what is not many years, just a couple of months down the line, he becomes my friend on Facebook. So because he's such good peoples out there in the wilderness, I expect that he would be good peoples on Facebook too, you know? But like, he was weird, he was strange on Facebook, and I kept also stalking his profile because I'd liked this guy literally since primary school, and I didn't even confess to my ex, by the way. I didn't let him know. That ought to have been a hint on its own that there's something I'm harboring, because if at all it was gone and this thing was neutral and it was water under the bridge, it was a rug basically that had been swept clean. I should have told my boyfriend that, do you know, I used to have such a big crush on this boy when I was in primary. I didn't tell my ex. It's almost as if though it was a secret. It's like it would be like, I felt it's almost like I was hiding an affair. I didn't tell him. I was with that guy for years, and I did not tell him that I once had a big crush in primary on your friend. Yeah, I just told him that we went to primary school together, but I didn't tell him that I had like a big crush. That is something that I think that's material information in a relationship, if at all it was over. So it clearly wasn't in my own heart, okay? But anyway, whatever, that progresses. I get off Facebook and everything because then the relationship with my ex ends, and I just make a decision to fly like a bird, do different things, wada fish paste, etc. I would then get born again, alright? Get saved in the Lord, and this random buffoon would then be revealed as one of the culprits that harassed the living daylights out of me with sorcery. He was odd towards me on Facebook because he was made to watch my life from that vantage point. Same way that I was looking at him on Facebook, he was looking at me on Facebook. And he got embittered. I like to say, Azangwashela, okay, fine, so I was cool all up in your grill, but like, it's the job of the guy to try anyway, even if a girl's out here acting cool. He didn't try. If he had just said the right words, I don't know what would have happened. I probably would have been with him. I don't know. But like, he thoroughly is the first guy that I ever had any true big chunky feelings for. And it, however, didn't happen. It just didn't happen. Like, it could have, but it didn't. It could have happened, but it just never happened. And this Okie got embittered when he was watching me be with my ex. The very same sentiment that I had when my girls were like, who's your boy? Who's your friend? And I was like, hi. Well, he had the same feeling too, but while I never got to see him be with any of my girls, he got to see me be with one of his boys. And so it ate him like a worm, like a maggot, and he decided that he's going to harass me with witchcraft. I didn't find this out until I would get born again. I didn't find this out until I would get saved, alright? And when I got saved, the kind of sorcery that this guy did on me was so below the belt, and it was so heinous, that I started out this message by saying, I dodged a bullet and I got stories. I dodged a bullet, and I'm gonna explain to you in the next part, because I've already been speaking for an hour 18 minutes, why I say I dodged a bullet with him. That man did not react to me that way due to the fact that he was embittered by unreciprocated love. It was always going to be what he was into. The reputational damage or the mistreatment of my person by people around that blocked me from being with this guy, it was a protection. I have had so many dreams from God showing me what would have ended up us with this guy and what my life would have been like. And I'm going to spend the next part explaining that to you, that you might understand that men that are currently looking at me she's beautiful, she's wonderful and everything, but she's just too poor. She's just going through too much. What am I going to do with that? I'm dodging a bullet. You are supposed to look at me like that because you were not supposed to be in my life because of what you would eventually be if you became my husband. I had a dream about some anomalous weirdo out here toggling his options in pursuing me. However, telling himself, let's go to the next part and discuss what in the world that phenomenon is, that you might gauge how protected I am precisely because of mindsets of that nature. Next part.